You're going to need clearly a paddle. You have to take the stock grip off. I use 3 grips. I use Yonex grips. It's consistent. You always get the bevels. You're going to need a pair of scissors and the little things to put the... Before you start gripping the paddle, I take a Sharpie. You mark it on the paddle where you're starting. So on this one, I'll start right there. The reason you mark it is because you need to start at the same spot every time. We take the paddle, put the grip starting there. Generally, you don't want to do it too tight. Like, I know with these you can stretch them, but you want to go kind of loose. Probably tapering maybe a 1/4 inch. So once you get about to the top, it depends on like what you like to do. The bottom grip, at least at the top, doesn't ultimately matter, but you want to go as high up on the throat as you can. Probably around there. Take your scissors. Cut the grip. So usually after the first grip, this is not super important, just something I do. You can take this little nub, I guess, that's sitting right here, and you can just cut it. Yeah, you can't really see the mark on the camera, but if you look super closely, you can see right there where it starts. And when you're gripping it, you're not necessarily looking to overlap the same way. You're trying to find this little ridge. I don't know if you can see it super well. And you just trace that with your thumb. And after you do it the first time, where you do the bottom 2 grips, you don't need to replace any other grip but the top one. So it becomes a lot easier after you set it up. On the 3rd grip, this top part actually becomes important, so I'm going to show you how I do that. So same thing as last time, you're just you're tracing the valley. So you see the valley, and you just follow it with your thumb. Before I finish the 3rd grip, I always double check that it fits in my hand the way I want it to fit. So for example, on this paddle, right, I hold the paddle relatively low. So I want my finger to fit in between here, this bevel. So I like so yeah, so as I mentioned before, this top part becomes important. So if you notice we're at the top, you want to wrap around until you cover, I don't know if you can see, if you cover this last little Yonex thing here, so you'll see the Yonex thing. You take your Sharpie or your pen or whatever you want to do, and I put one mark right at the top of this throat, and I put another mark on the, so I guess it would be 2 rotations, and I put a mark where this throat meets the grip at the bottom. So you have 2 Sharpie marks, and you cut from circle to circle. So then this just creates like a little taper, and so now it looks like this. All right, and then once you put your Yonex thing on the top, I use 1 inch electrical tape. I kind of put it on before this, but now your paddle should have the bevels